sometimes I even get a little jealous of my friends who can like leave work at 5 o'clock and don't have to think about it all night. They don't have to plan.
Have to do a podcast after their
Yeah, they don't have to do a fucking podcast.
Real quick before getting into today's episode, just wanted to shout out a few quick things. First of all, we have a Patreon. For as low as $1.50 a month, you can get early access to these episodes as well as your name in the credits. And with the $5 tier, you can gain access to member-only channels in our Discord server. Secondly, we have merch. 2 designs that we absolutely love. You can find those over at indiemerchstore.com. And last but not least, we do these podcast recordings live on Twitch. So if you want to be a part of the conversation, see these as they happen. We do those every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. EST. Yeah, that's it. Links to everything I just mentioned will be in the description, along with links to our Discord server and our other socials. That's it. That's all I got to plug. Enjoy the episode. Chaney, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stream. How are we doing?
I'm good. I'm stoked to be here. Thanks for having me, you guys. I was loving that little anime rant that I got to come in on. I know nothing, so I'm gonna take your opinion for it. Death Note.
Yeah, it would make me very happy if you never watched that movie. Like the anime itself is incredible, don't get me wrong. Death Note as an anime, one of the best, but they attempted to make a movie, and I'm to this day, it might have been like someone daring somebody, like somebody lost a bet or
let's do something. You have to do something really shitty for of course. Yeah.
Something to tarnish someone's reputation forever type of thing.
On that note, this might lose some people immediately, but I promise you I will never watch that. I'm not a huge anime fan. I'm sorry guys. My husband is like way into Berserk, and our guitar player Scott's way into Berserk, and just I've never been that interested in it, so don't worry, I won't watch it. I promise.
No problem.
Won't participate.
Can I ask what you like watching though?
I like watching. I watch documentaries. That's my thing.
Any specific brand of documentaries? Is it the true crimes? Is it the historical?
No,
what are we doing here?
It's usually like slice of life. I would say that just off the top of my head, like one of the best documentaries of all time is called The Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia. It's like about a family from West Virginia, to say like the very least. And if people out there haven't seen it, they should watch it. But I mean, yeah, slice of life documentaries about people who do meth. I mean, it's like that's my
those
shit.
Are the good ones. Yeah.
Oh, dude, you're telling me. There's actually. So I'm from Des Moines, Iowa.
Yeah.
And for anyone out there who's familiar with Iowa, there's a lot of meth going around Iowa. And when I was a kid, HBO had this series, and it was a meth documentary episode, and it was based in Des Moines, Iowa. So that's probably where like my love for it all began, I guess. But yeah, documentaries. That's
the documentaries. Just to precise here, your love for the documentaries containing meth.
Yeah, love them. Okay. If anyone has any good meth doc recommendations, shoot them my way. I will watch that for sure.
Yeah, and my sort of I'm probably watching like the lamest documentaries, but like it's so good for my anxiety, like the ocean ones with like the calm voice, and they're just like describing like life on Earth, like that's
Planet Earth. Or there's another one that's about. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Right.
So soothing.
Yes, it's like if you feel bad, it's going to be great.
You're absolutely, that's absolutely true. We watched a documentary about a week ago, and it's about free diving. You should watch that. Your anxiety is not going to be cured by watching this. So it's probably a mix of the type of documentaries that I like and what you like, but it's about free diving, which is to me like one of the most horrifying things that you could ever do. And I don't want to give anything away, but it's a really good documentary.
Yeah. It's second to, what is it called when people are just for absolutely no reason going in caves, but like being
no.
That's the first one. Like for me, like you couldn't pay me anything in like, no matter what it is, I would be like, I'm not doing that. Like sometimes it's debatable. Like, is this a good idea? This isn't even a question. It's a bad idea.
I totally agree with that. It's a totally bad idea. In fact, I cannot relate to, there are all kinds of documentaries about this, right? Free Solo is one that's about free climbing. You know, like climbing fucking mountains without any safety harness or anything. Yeah. I just absolutely cannot relate to that like daredevil thing, and that some people have. That is not me. I don't like heights. I don't even really want to be on the third story of a building if I don't have to be, you know. I don't like flying. I'm not fucking ocean. Like, keep me on land. On grass, just like, I don't even like a high stage that much, you know, like getting too close to the edge of a high stage scares the shit out of me. So yeah, not a daredevil. I
couldn't relate more. Honestly, couldn't relate more. My whole life, I was like people are, oh, let's go jump in parachute. Why would I ever? Why?
I like living. I like living, and I understand that I'll probably live if I do that, but why test it? I'd rather just know I'm going to live right here on the ground.
Just sounds terrible. Like,
I agree.
And people, my favorite part is they're describing to you, and as they're trying to sell it to you, and it sounds horrible during their sell pitch. They're like, so you're in the air and you're gonna feel your heart staying there, and then you're gonna be super scared, and you cannot even see the ground. I'm like, you're describing a nightmare.
Like literally, I have nightmares about that, and none of this sounds fun to me. Yeah, absolutely not.
So we could be doing anything. Like at this, anything would be better than like anything. Like walking in the park, amazing. Like anything besides doing that. So.
Yes, petting a cat. You know, doing nice things here with very calm animals. Yes. I don't want to go like wrestle bears. You know, I'm fucking good off of that. Get me to like a Starbucks. You know, I'm trying to do shit like that. That's my daredevil move of the day.
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit too much caffeine in the veins. That's living dangerous. Yeah.
That's the adrenaline that I like. That's the Chaney Crabb adrenaline. Just pump me full of it, man.
I do the same thing. I'm like, I have anxiety. Let's take coffee. Let's just make it worse.
And maybe let's drink like 20 pots of coffee, you know, just sweat that anxiety out, dude.
Okay, so that's how we're testing. That's the way
yes, exactly. Heart attack.
Push the limits of the human body.
Yes. Exactly. Of the human heart.
Yes.
Chaney, you mentioned growing up in Ohio, and I do want
Iowa. Oh my God.
Iowa. I'm sorry.
It's
Iowa.
Okay. You're forgiven.
Slipknot. I know.
It's not starting well. It is not starting well.
Slipknot.
But look, because I want to go into the whole Chaney origin story.
Yes,
I do want to get into all of that, but first, you're in Nashville now, right? Correct?
Yep. And, Nashville, Tennessee, man.
Yes, sir. And because I saw you posted some stories a few days ago on Tuesday. You say, "Hey, wrapped up a record. Congrats, by the way. We're gonna have to talk about that too." But then you went out to some sort of event that had like a crazy lineup of people performing. What the hell was that?
Yeah. So we were at, it was the Musicians Hall of Fame inductees ceremony. It wasn't just like the Country Music Hall of Fame, it's the Music Hall of Fame induction ceremony. So our friend Claire was working production on the show and got us in. And I had no idea what to expect. We had just gotten home from the studio, me and Naveen and our guitar player, Michael. And I called Michael because Claire told us she had 6 comp tickets. And I was like, this might be a moment where we just say yes. I didn't know what it was or who was going to be there. So it was all a surprise. And I was like, this might be a moment where we say yes. So I called Michael and we all like got ready in 5 minutes and sped downtown to get into the show. And I didn't read the program because I just wanted to be surprised the entire time. And I grew up on country music. Like my parents love country music, and I just like, I know every lyric to every country song if you get me in a country bar. And Garth fucking Brooks. The first artist who was inducted is the dude who George Thorogood, who is the guy who wrote Bad to the Bone, which you can't even imagine a world where Bad to the Bone is a song that someone just wrote or doesn't exist, So I looked to Naveen and I was like, if this is the first inductee, then holy shit, we're probably in. If this is the opener, then fuck, where are we going with this? And then Garth Brooks came out, Trisha Yearwood, Vince Gill, Sheryl Crow. It was Peter Frampton, Dweezil Zappa. It was just the craziest shit ever. And Michael McDonald, Michael, our guitar player, and I, we love classic rocks and yacht rock. So we'll fucking do karaoke to Michael McDonald songs all the time. So yeah, it was just absolutely mind blowing. But that's the type of shit that happens in Nashville.
That's what I was going to say. That's an only in Nashville type of thing, right?
It really is. And, we've lived here for almost 5 years now, and stuff like that. Just the community that we've cultivated here and stuff like that happening where there's so much cool stuff surrounding the music scene. We just really feel like we're meant to be here. There's always something cool coming up. Naveen is he engineers and he plays session drums, and we have a studio in our house. So it's he is always picking up work, just doing random shit. And that's the case for all of our friends who live here, are from here, have moved here. There's just so much opportunity in the musical world that you may not even think about, just being a touring metal musician. So we didn't know what we were in store for when we decided to move here, because we lived in Santa Cruz, California before this, which is a really desolate, nothing going on type beach community.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't really know what we were in store for, but this moving here has been the greatest decision of our lives. And it's almost like there was something calling us here the whole time.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
What was, because you say you didn't really know what was in store for you guys. Was that still kind of the general idea? Because I know Nashville has become kind of a hotbed for music, especially for metal musicians for whatever reason. There's a ton of metal migrating to Nashville.
I don't want to toot our horn, but I do think that Naveen and I kind of led a lot of the pack on that. We moved here, and then Scott Carstairs, who's the guitar player in Fallujah, who's now our guitar player as well, moved here. And ever since then, it's just kind of all of Fallujah moved here. We got Michael, our guitar player, to move here from Denver. Infurious here. Ben Savage from Whitechapel, and his wife Jillian, who does my makeup and is an incredible artist and a really good friend of mine. They live here, and it's so it's just crazy, the metal scene. If you go to a party at our house, we have a New Year's Eve party, you'll see it's people from a bunch of different fucking sick bands there. So yeah, metal is really gravitating to this area, and it's very cool. It's there's a resurgence in the metal scene because all of us are, trying to lift it back up and get it popping. So yeah, it's really fucking cool. It's inspiring as well to be around people like that. I'm sure you guys can relate to this. You live in a place that's very well known for being a metal epicenter. And just when you have those type of people around who are all trying to achieve things in the same realm that you are and are all really driven, it's just so inspiring. And it's it's not, none of us are competitive with each other or anything. We're all just fucking stoked for each other.
It's just cool to see other people doing cool shit, right? And especially if it's something that's remotely in the same kind of field as you're doing or the same kind of thing you're doing. It's just it's you said, it's motivating as hell for sure.
It is.
Here we have these mega complexes of jam spots, with 300 jam spots, and it's mostly metal bands, So just walking around going from the entrance to your spot is you're seeing so many people coming in and out, and obviously you keep track with what everyone is doing and all that stuff. So yeah, it definitely breeds to your point, like inspiration and
oh,
just,
absolutely. And that's where the coolest shit comes from, you know, like communities of people getting together and talking about their ideas. And like, I really, Naveen and I are both very into the idea of like building community and just like, you know, having the sickest people around. And that, because of that, we've been able to like come up with things that we never would have on our own. Because when you hear something about what someone is doing that you never would have thought of, whether it comes to like creating music or the way that you budget tours or whatever the fuck else that comes along with being a musician, like it's just, you learn so much being just in direct proximity with your peers. And I mean, you know, on top of that, our producer and engineer, Mark Lewis, who, you know, he's done Whitechapel. Everyone knows Mark Lewis. He lives like half a mile away from our house. So it's, I don't know. It's just like mind blowing to me, the scene in Nashville. And I'm excited to see it keep growing because that's exactly what it's done over the past 5 years.
Yeah, a lot of it comes down to production. I feel like, well, production and session work, but a lot of it is production. I feel like a lot of producers in the metal world that even if they'll come to Nashville, not even to continue necessarily doing more metal. It's like whatever, just whatever production gig, right? And
absolutely.
But I think the really talented producers oftentimes are metalheads. So
it's very true. I mean, I don't know if you guys are familiar with our friend Casey Sable, he was the original vocalist of Periphery. Casey moved here and now he produces vocals for like, you know, top 40 country stuff. And people are just constantly falling into that. And like you said, you know, Naveen's gone to crazy sessions and sat in with people here. And yeah, it's just opportunity comes about that you never would have thought of outside of Nashville.
That's dope.
Almost hard to explain even. Sometimes it's kind of an energy thing. Like earlier you said, like, it felt like it was meant to be. I really believe in these things. It's like sometimes you need to trust that you're at the right place with the right people. And then if you're open to it, stuff happen. And I don't know, like it's like an
that's
energy.
What it's all about. Yeah. And you just said something that's like very important, which is being open to it. I think there are so many things that in my like I was just talking about with just as simple as going to the induction ceremony the other night, like saying yes. I'm always about saying yes. It's always a yes until it's a no. And it's very important to be open to doing those type of things in your world and not shutting things out because, like, you know, take it from me, saying yes to things and not being like too cool to do shit and really humoring everything that comes my way is a lot of why I've been able to, you know, work as a musician and keep doing this for as long as I have. So it's a very important thing to take to heart.
Yeah, that's cool. I love that. It's cool though. I don't know what it is, but I also feel like, you know, LA used to be that place. But everyone kind of knows that they hate LA.
That's exactly, yeah. So
Nashville seems like a cool, like a really cool alternative to like the LA scene and the people there and like that sort of vibe, you know. Even though like California is great, I love California, but LA is like its own microcosm of a place, right? When it comes to business.
Well, you know, we moved. Yeah, sorry to interrupt you. We moved to Naveen, my husband, used to be in Animals as Leaders. And when Naveen and I started dating in early 2011, Animals moved to LA and got a house together. And I moved in with them in Los Angeles. And like I said, I'm from Des Moines, Iowa. I'm Midwestern. I'm a very, you know, nice Midwestern girl. And moving to LA was just such a fucking culture shock. And LA was that. Like being in Nashville now does remind me of being in LA back then because a lot of stuff was happening. And but yeah, no one was as open to making friends. And maybe it was because then, you know, I was, as shitty as this sounds to say, then I was just a guy's girlfriend who was the drummer of Animals as Leaders. You know, I hadn't really made a full career for myself at that point, and maybe that was a part of it. And maybe it was just that I was feeling the lack of community because I had such a great community in Des Moines. But LA is just not the place for me. I still have such good friends who live there, but like as far as the vibe. That's why Nashville is LA with manners. It's got all the cool
that's
stuff.
the saying, LA with manners. I like that.
Yes, because here everyone wants to be friends. The people who are from Tennessee, like I just brought up my friend Claire who works in production. Claire's from Nashville, and I met her when I moved to Nashville, and that's just the overall vibe here, that people do want to link up and make friends with each other and don't view other people just by the currency of where they can help them get.
Yeah.
Which is what I felt in LA. So yeah, it's the same vibe, but way better in my opinion, for sure.
That's awesome.
And you were describing, before it was maybe a bit more difficult to make friends and stuff like that. Like about the energy thing, it's also where you're at. Not to say you were not in a good place, but I mean, like, there's so much to do with confidence and what you're dealing with and stuff like that. Like sometimes we forget about these things. Like someone could appear rude or not open or whatever, and then next thing you know, they're going through stuff, or maybe their confidence isn't super high and stuff like that. So you need it's not an easy thing, being open is the best thing you can do, but easier said than done, because you need to be ready for it. Like right now you seem to be in a really good place. I've even watched interview you did, like the I think Garza, I could be wrong, but I think that's the one I have in mind, and I could feel it in the energy, when people are feeling good, they're in a good spot, and I think that's also a big thing, because like I'm saying that right now, but I'm pretty sure you would see me in certain phases in my life and maybe I wasn't that open. So it's I guess I'm just saying it's a whole thing.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. You're absolutely right. It's a lot of it is the internal thing. And the Chaney that you're talking to right now is not the same Chaney that I was 15, 16 years ago when I first moved to California. I came of age after that in California, and I joined a band and I started touring. So much has happened, and you're right. So much of it comes down to how you feel on the inside and what you're portraying to the world. And it's like the vibe of other people might not even be what you feel, but so much of the way that you approach the world is going on internally.
Exactly. That's because I keep saying that, and again, I go spiritual very quick in these conversations.
Oh, me too. Let's go.
It's like because it's so much like we're talking about energy, but weirdly, even though you believe in these things or not, that's something you can still feel. Like if someone it's confidence, but it's also just where you're at and your values and everything. That's why sometimes you meet someone and you have nothing against that person, but there's some sort of like clash. Like that's why I'm describing energies in general. And it's sometimes it's not even because you're not as good as a person or the other. It's nobody's fault. It's just like the energies are not necessarily matching, but I came to realize that it's just like it's also okay to let that stuff go. For the longest time I had so much problem with that. I was like, is it like putting everything on my fault? Like, maybe I did this. And at some point it's just like, dude, no, it's completely fine. Like you're not the same place, you're not better or worse, just not at the same place. I guess I just wanted to have that. Like
I agree. I think it's easy to get caught up in those type of things, but it's kind of like the viewing yourself as, a ship in the water and not letting things rock, whatever comes by, you just let it come to pass. What is that saying? It's like, there's like a Buddhist saying that's something like,
the two French guys
like that.
My English, I'm going to ruin it probably, even if I knew it.
But it's something like that. It's basically just, all of these things. Maybe this comes with age, I'm sure it does, just as a human living in the world. But it's like the older that you get, the more that you realize that life is this huge thing. And these small encounters, they'll teach you something rather than being like super put off by it or like in your own head. These small encounters with people that you may not vibe with, you may vibe with, they teach you something, you learn something from all of that. But overall, like as far as the big picture goes, none of that shit really matters. And these little momentary shifts in mood or in just, you know, vibe or what's going on in your world, they really, they come and they pass. And mostly it's about how you deal with it. And you can choose to let it go. And that's like one of the most important things that I've learned in life, is that most things you just have to let go, because, you know, you could judge the way someone else is dealing with a situation, but we're not all the same people. We're not all products of the same upbringing. We're not all going to deal with things the same way. So I kind of just, you know, I know this is like really cringy therapy speak right now, but it's like you kind of just have to meet people where they are, you know, and acknowledge that life is greater than the momentary conflicts that arise.
1000%. I mean, you're saying it's cringy. Like, that's basically the way I talk all the time. Like, I'm probably very cringy.
People in this podcast are used to the cringe. We're all good.
Yeah,
okay, perfect.
It's the same place.
It's like hits blunt. We hit a blunt, and we're like,
if they're okay with me, best believe they're gonna be okay with you. I'm the person who's constantly, you know, at the grocery store, like, I hope you're gonna have a good shift. Like, that's
we got a bit of
me too.
A bit of the Santa Cruz in us here too, I guess.
That's seriously it, man. I mean, the law of attraction, all of that hippie shit. I actually, you know, I believe in these things, and the reason that I believe in things like the law of attraction is because I've used that a lot in my life. I don't know if it's like that I'm actually manifesting, or that I've just been so dead set on my mission in life that things tend to happen. But I do believe that, like, if you have a solitary goal in mind, or if you know exactly what you want, if you keep chasing that and you don't divert from the mission, then you will achieve those things. But of course, I can only speak for myself, and I know that other people, you know, it could anger other people from different vantage points. But the only reason that I've been able to do things like chase a career in music is just by never fucking stopping, never fucking giving up on that, like, that singular focus. And it drives people in my life nuts, I'm sure.
Yan says this a lot. You have to be somewhat delusional.
Yes,
you know?
You
have to, you know?
You have to. Yeah. Are you kidding me? If I wasn't fucking delusional, dude, I've toured in a van with a bunch of men, smelly men, for my entire life. You know, there's delusion. I've kept going when I didn't make any fucking money. When Naveen and I lived in a barn behind his mom, and I'm talking about a real ass barn. Not like a cute.
This wasn't glamping by any means.
This wasn't glamping. Okay, this is a real ass barn. Behind his mom's house for 7 years while we like started the band and got it off the ground. And it's like there does have to be delusion, but you also have to have people in your life who support you. And I feel very lucky that I found a partner who has the same delusional goals that I do.
Congrats, not to cut you off, but like on your relationship and stuff, it's really cool.
Thank you. Though sometimes it's like, you know, Naveen, I'm way more of a workaholic than Naveen, and he'll say all the time that if it wasn't for me being like, we need to fucking work, that he'd just be like a dungeon dweller, like writing, which isn't, we all know that this isn't true, because Naveen is like one of the sickest fucking musicians on planet Earth. But he says that if it wasn't for my psychopathy, that he would not be as like dead set on this thing as he is. But yeah, it's like having the partner, having the friends, having the band members, and the people who work with us, you know, on the business side and stuff. It's people believing in you as well. But if you're a psycho and you know exactly what you fucking want, and you have a focus and a goal, people tend to hop on that train. You know, like I think people can tell.
And to your point, because I agree with everything you said, I think you're the perfect person to you know, to say something like that, because the moment you say you're going to do music or anything really, and it's not against you know, having 9 to 5 and stuff, no problem with that at all. I'm just saying it's a weird concept that when you dream, and I won't say dream bigger because it's really like, I don't want to compare it, but when you have like a dream that maybe is unusual, and people like a lot of the reactions are like, well, because it's not secure. It's like, what if this and this and this, and you have to deal with a lot of this. And I'm sure you did, and you probably had to repeat multiple times. But there's so much beauty in that, in that sort of little delusion. And I'm gonna go spiritual again, but a lot of people are getting lost, I think, in, oh, I'm that age or whatever, until you realize that your inner child, the little kid you were, like, it's still there if you want. Like, that person is still there, and the person like you who did all your dreams and everything, it's basically like looking at your inner self, like your little kid. Hey, never gave up. We're here, and I'm doing it. There's like a lot of beauty in it, but it comes with not in a mean way, but it comes with, you take some advice and you have to leave a lot out of, like, okay, thanks for your concern, but I'm, you know, I'm doing this. And that part sometimes isn't easy, especially when it's somebody you care or like you respect a lot, who's like, listen, I don't know, because they're going to tell you that in the hard times, right? Because when it's going well, obviously it sees, oh, cool, it's a cool thing you're doing. It's when it's not going super well that people are like, well, maybe it's time. And those are the moments that you're like, no, I don't give up. So I don't know why I'm saying all of this. I just want to say
you're right. Those are the moments that you have to get over. I mean, do you know how many fucking times my parents obviously have come around and are way into it now, but you know, they were just concerned about their little girl. Can you imagine, you know, 20 years ago, dropping your little girl off at metal shows where there are a bunch of scary fucking guys there, you know, dropping me off for band practice, and I scream and not really knowing, you know, it's like, there are so many times, of course, where people are going to question you, but it's only out of their concern, and understandably so, because it's not like I went into the most lucrative field, and, you know, it's understandable. But as time, it's getting through those moments and just staying true to your heart. That's really, sometimes your heart tells you that music is not the thing for you. You know, sometimes your heart tells you art's not the thing. I mean, most people that I grew up with in the local Des Moines scene are not playing music anymore, and they fell off for whatever reason. And I just kept going because my heart always said that this was what I was meant to do. But I can sympathize with both things, you know. I only could actually live off of music. I've only been able to live off of music for the last 5 years. So I had, you know, I'm not I know about the, like, having a 9 to 5 and all of that stuff. And I know when it seems more comfortable, and I know how high expenses become, and how it almost seems like something, you can't play music anymore because you have a car payment and all of that stuff. I just always like made choices to keep doing this. Like Naveen and I shared one car. We paid for it in cash, you know, it's like, we just found ways to keep the thing going.
But that's what I always say. It's the North Star, you know, like if to chase that dream, to really, that informs everything. Right. Yeah. And that's why you need to have that vision, because if you don't, you will start making decisions that don't benefit that goal. But if that is your goal, you're right. Everything is, all those decisions are easy, right? That's true. Not to say hard times don't happen, but just the things you need to do in order to put yourself in the best in the best spots become obvious. It's like, well, yeah, we're gonna share a car. You know, like, because this is a step closer to making this thing work, right? So, like, living in the barn for 7 years, like, not glamorous, but you're like,
who gives a fuck, man? We're playing metal. Yeah. We get to go tour. We get to meet the coolest people in the world. We're in Serbia playing metal, like what the, I'm screaming for, it's like all of that leads to this. And it's not glamorous, but luckily the two of us we're just really not materialistic people. And like, we've always been willing to just be like, fuck it, man, this is for the greater good. And over time, things just, start to unfold in a way that's favorable.
The funny perspective I find is, and it's okay, it's normal, but like most people, they're gonna, see success story at like the end of the success, but they don't see like the road of the thing. So they're gonna say stuff, and it's not bad intended, but they're gonna be like, oh, you're really lucky to be in that position. And even though you feel like, I'm sure in some way, like you probably like your relationship, all you have, but they don't really see though the moments that you don't even count your hours. You don't even work for the hour. It's like 100 hours. It's all you do. I'm convinced at this point that you have to be obsessed. Basically to do that. So I'm just saying, it's so difficult to be in a moment where you don't make as much money as other people, but you work like 3-4 times as hard. So that's a reality. Not to
I never clock out.
You, but
yeah, no, you're speaking for me. Yeah, I mean, you're totally right. I never clock out. I think about my band 24 hours a day, and sometimes I even get a little jealous of my friends who can like leave work at 5 o'clock and don't have to think about it all night. They don't have to plan
a podcast after their
day. Yeah, they don't have to do a fucking podcast. They don't have to like create something out of nothing. That's crazy. It's like writing an album and just like having that pressure on you to like meet deadlines and also stay true to your art, and the yin yang of the artist and expectation and
content. And
it's like sometimes I'm jealous of that, but when I'm sitting around and we're all at dinner and drinking wine and they're talking about the people at their corporate job like being total assholes to them all day, I'm like, well, metal ain't so bad, man. I don't care about money that much,
Yeah, it's it's one of those things. I always say that because sometimes I talk with friends and we talk about what we do, and it's like I'm having a YouTube channel and stuff, and they're like, oh, sometimes they think about their dreams, right? They're like, oh, I didn't do my dreams, and I'm like, dude, I'm like, he has a family and everything. So I'm trying sometimes to make people see what they have. It's all choices and stuff. Like you can, like, because I know I keep advocating like do your dreams, but the world would be, we cannot all do metal things. Like as much as I love metal, that would go pretty bad if everybody's doing that. So I'm just saying,
we wouldn't have jobs. Metal guys, we need a job.
Come on. We need less metal musicians out here. Come on, guys.
Get out of here.
It would be a mess. So I think there's also,
you're totally right.
Just to add to your saying, I think it's if you're happy with the job you chose and I don't know, like family, anything you do, and you're happy with that, like please don't ever feel like, oh my god, I didn't do. Like it's, you don't have to. Plus, you have to be a little crazy to do these things, like speaking for myself. So
yes, you do.
So there's that.
You're right.
Just a quick second to talk about the sponsor of today's episode. You guys already know. It's Indie Merch Store. Massive shout out, as always, to Indie Merch Store for supporting the show. We have a couple of things to talk to you guys about today. First of which, Whitechapel just came out with 2 vinyl reissues of some of their albums. The first one being a 10th anniversary reissue version of Mark of the Blade. 10 years already is crazy to say out loud, but here we are. The other reissue is of Our Endless War. You can check both of those out over at indiemerchstore.com to secure yours today. Now, the second thing we have to talk about, Cryptopsy. They just kicked off their headlining run for the Decibel Magazine tour. The band is celebrating 30 years of None So Vile. They've got a solid lineup going out with them. There's Necrot, Spirit Adrift, and Blood Monolith. Unfortunately, Fulci had to drop the tour, but Spirit Adrift have come in clutch and are doing this awesome tour. You can get your tickets at decibelmagazine.com. You can also find a ton of Cryptopsy merch over at indiemerchstore.com. As always, you guys can use code BRUTALITY at checkout for 10% off of your entire order. Again, that's code BRUTALITY at checkout for 10% off of your entire order. Massive shout out once again to Indie Merch Store for supporting the show. And now, back to the episode. I'd like to kind of paint the picture of, because I think this kind of goes in tandem with everything we're talking about right now. You, from my understanding, you've been dead set on music since like day one. Like
yeah,
I saw pictures of you with the guitar in your hand, hitting the
yeah,
drums.
my little toddler pictures.
Like 2, 3,
yeah, my
4
grandma
years
got
old.
Yeah,
so,
I can't remember. I literally can't remember a time in my life when I didn't have music as a goal. I was in swing choir. It took a while to find the lane, but I was always a singer. I was in swing choir and I was like a lead in a musical, and I always loved drums. I was always very drawn to drums, and I play drums and guitar and stuff. And when I was like 12 or 13, I started listening to, I was really into System of a Down, and then I got, further Slipknot. I mean, when I was a kid, it was like right after Slipknot popped off in Des Moines. So the local scene was fucking crazy because everyone was like, we can do this. And like, I remember seeing the
scene, sorry to cut you off, but I need to know this. Was the scene all of a sudden full of local bands wearing masks and hitting garbage cans?
Okay, there is. See, here's the thing. They not after Slipknot, but there was actually like a competing band to Slipknot that not a lot of people know about called 35-Inch Mutter. And they also wore masks from what I remember. And they are a Des Moines band that was around in the late 90s, early 2000s. There's a documentary about them on YouTube. So they were kind of like Slipknot's competition. After Slipknot popped off, it was fucking new metal. So, I mean, people were wearing makeup and stuff and dipping. My favorite local band was called Index Case. And the vocalist Joe would like dip his whole arm in a paint bucket, like a red paint bucket. And it was just very new metal times, So the scene was popping off and I started going to local shows and like seeing those people do it, people who I like could compare myself to, I guess, because they were from Des Moines. I just fell in love with it. I got really into OTEP and Lamb of God, and just like the rest of it is history, really.
What was kind of like was there a band where you were like, this vocal thing, like I need to do this? Like what was the first vocal thing that you were like, okay, I got to chase this, whatever this is?
Really, it was Randy Blythe. Like when I first heard Lamb of God, and the reason was because like before that, I mean, there were bands before that now that I'm way more knowledgeable in metal who could really achieve like an emotional element with their screams. But in particular, there's this Lamb of God song called Vigil. It's on As the Palaces Burn, and right, it's on As the Palaces Burn. I'm saying that right.
An
okay,
absolute classic.
Just checking. So it's on As the Palaces Burn, and like that song specifically taught me like, oh, this like metal groovy thing can also be an emotional thing. It brought those two things together for me. So Randy Blythe was really where I started being like, okay, this guy's got a crazy voice that goes everywhere. He can be emotional. You can understand what he's saying. And like, I wanted to do that. That was my dude.
Okay. And then, look, we mostly cover deathcore bands over here on the podcast. Yeah. So
I noticed that. Yeah.
So I heard you say this thing about Despised Icon when it pertains to your vocals.
Of course. Yeah, dude. I mean, well, so see, the MySpace scene was when I was a little older. I came of age in like 2007. I graduated in 2007. So it's like, Ills of Modern Man was my fucking like, that's my absolute shit. But I never wanted to be in a 2 vocalist band. I was like, get the fuck out of here. I'm the star of this show, you know? So I was like, I want to be able to do what both of these guys can do so that no one ever tries to put me in a band with another vocalist unless that person has an instrument. And yeah, Ills of Modern Man, that's still to me, that's like the #1 deathcore album of all time. And like Despised Icon is like real deathcore as I would call it, you know. That's like true deathcore. It's real death metal mixed with real like hardcore or metalcore or whatever the fuck. And also Despised Icon's first vocalist, Marie, was a woman, and that was fucking hell of inspiring to me. Awesome. Yeah, so that band, yeah, loved them. I loved, you know, I was there when JFAC was popping off. And then I love like bands like Burning the Masses and Molotov Solution and
hell yeah,
fuck, like all kinds of stuff like that. More riffy,
the
like
the techy kind of almost. I mean, it was they could barely be called deathcore bands. It was just kind of the note choice in their riffing. You know, like Burning the Masses didn't really have breakdown. You know, but it was in the same bucket. It was MySpace, like
exactly.
Job, famously, you know, same thing.
Exactly. It's like that deathcore has become over the years, like, you know, separated into all of these different like subgenres of deathcore. And it's gotten way more breakdowny, way more core to me than it has death metal. Well, in certain ways, you know, it shows in different ways, but then it was very much, like riff based, and, you know, Through the Eyes of the Dead and all of those type of bands, Dead to Fall, and then early Veil of Maya. You know, I was like, so when the early Sumerian scene came out, Veil of Maya, After the Burial, The Faceless, obviously, then I was like, oh fuck, okay, like this is my shit. And that's when to me, that's like quintessential MySpace shit, I guess. And Flesh Rot, of course.
You're speaking our language, Chaney.
Yeah, I was about to say for us as well, like great taste. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Vel is. I mean, the Commencement's Collapse is right on.
Oh, so good. One of the best.
Because we were talking about that prior to the podcast. That sort of like techie deathcore was it was like short lived. We didn't have many of those bands, and then
I think they just all went straight death metal. They just kind of realized like, let's just make this sound a little less deathcore, and we'll just be death metal bands. That's where all those musicians went, I think.
Well, or they went. I mean, or like with Veil of Maya, you know, they kind of went more. Here's what happened. I have a whole thesis about this. Gent came around.
Yes.
7string.org, Gent came around. And this is why, you know, I was going to bring this up to you guys. I'm sure you already know this, but Naveen would be a great person for you to have on this podcast, because he's like, you know, he was in Animosity. Yep. He was in The Faceless. He was in all of those early bands, and Hoods, which is a hardcore band. But then he was also at the forefront of the Gent scene. He was in Animals as Leaders, and he's played in Whitechapel and all of those bands. But Gent happened, and all of a sudden, like, everyone wanted to sound like that. Everyone wanted to like incorporate like shit that Spencer Sotelo was doing, become a little more sing-songy. And there was a real time when like everyone started kind of copying Periphery.
Oh yeah.
Kind of a dark time in metal for me, because I'm like
you're saying the right things once again.
Kind of a dark time.
Could not be and I
fucking love those guys. I fucking love those guys. But Casey Sable is a really close friend of ours. I tell him all the time, I'm like, man, you fucking ruined metal for a while, dude. Getting all that.
The dark days for real,
dude. Getting all that high pitched singing into like techier bands, but you know.
Yeah, and Misha too, right? Like that became what everyone wanted to do as well, right?
1,000,000%. I mean, Misha's, you know, and Nolly's production.
Yeah.
Like everyone just wanted to copy that, and like deathcore to me almost didn't even exist for a couple of years. Like, or you know, there was like a time where nothing was really. It just became far more of an underground thing. Yeah. Of course, in the last like maybe 8 years, it's fucking exploded again. But I do remember a time where it was like, you know, the people who ruled the underground metal world were more on the djenty or polyrhythmic side of things.
Was a really dark time. Like I keep like we attribute a lot of that. He knows what we're gonna say, but like you know, Suicide Silence when Mitch Lucker passed away really kind of, you know,
nail in the coffin. That plus Jen.
Yeah, and then Jen at the same time, as Dom was saying, like a lot of those bands became either because I'm sure people will remember, but deathcore right now is cool. It was back then, but at the same time, it was also not cool. And a lot of bands wanted to move on from being deathcore. So like tons of bands became straight up death metal. So no more breakdowns, which means I'm not listening anymore. And a lot of people did the same thing. A lot of people, I was the annoying kids who wanted breakdowns, obviously. I think it's easy to tell. But and then you had all the djenty kind of bands or the Veil of Maya roots, like more on the metalcore type of roots, I would call it. I don't know if it's fair, but
me too.
Sort of, you know, singing and stuff like that. So deathcore, to your point, no deathcore, it was gone. Like
it was gone. Someone's bringing up in the chat, they're talking about Exoplanet the Contortionist, and to me, that's kind of where deathcore was. Which Language Contortionist, one of my favorite albums of all time. I'm not saying anything disparaging about this, but yes, that is more indicative of like what deathcore was in those years. But also for me personally, I was sort of checked out of the metal scene between like 2011, 2012, and until Entheos started in late 2014, because I was just getting into other shit. I wasn't in a metal band, you know. Naveen was in Animals, so we were kind of like, you know, around those kind of shows a lot. And that, of course, has become its own monster, that whole scene. But and I was just listening to like EDM and stuff. And that's when I got really into post metal, which is kind of my bread and butter now. Like that's what I listen to is a lot of post metal, a lot of stonery, like folky, doomy, witchy shit.
Do you have examples? I'm just
yeah. So some examples would be like Isis, Chelsea Wolf, Converge would air on this, sometimes Cave In, that type of shit. I smoke a lot of weed, so it's probably Paul Bearer. Paul Bearer is a good example. Yeah. So it tracks, you know.
I mean, Jet was kind of weed adjacent as well, kind of.
Oh yeah, they loved fucking.
The space artwork was the whole thing, and
they loved
the
shapes.
Greater Self, the third eye.
Yeah, they love geometry over there in the fucking Jet world for sure.
It's crazy. The moment, I don't know about you guys, every time I hear the word gent, the first things for me was what was the song Volume Wormhole.
Oh yeah.
It starts in my every single time I hear.
But that was the good shit. That was the good
jam.
The
only Volume song I really know is, I think it's called Edge of the Earth.
Same kind of era. Yeah.
But like now that we're talking about that, even before that, I was like way into Misery Signals and stuff like that back in the day. You know, I was into a lot of like just emotional, like The Ghost Inside, Returners. I listened to that constantly when I was a kid. So yeah, I guess my tastes have been like bleeding through. My tastes have been kind of all over the place throughout the years, but I tend to err on the side of like really emotional music more than like vocal Olympics and all of that stuff. Love it for all of the people who are doing that. I think it's amazing to watch, and this isn't anything negative about it, but it's just not my thing.
She's gonna have to come here around like a lot. Like she has to be like a regular.
Be a recurring guest on the show. Share a lot of the same opinions here.
Hot takes with Chaney Crabb.
No, but I've heard you talk about this. You know, because you are such a versatile vocalist. Like your range is insane, right? And there is something to be said about, you know, I always say this, people are probably fed up with it, but like just serving the song, like, you know, like having whatever you're doing make sense with whatever context you're in. And I think you do that tastefully. Like throughout your Entheos' discography, you've had like, I feel like not eras, but like most albums have like a slightly different like approach to the even just like the tones you use on each record, whether it be more or less singing, but even from, you know, some of the stuff you've done doesn't necessarily have like the low and high register, you know,
of course.
And then you'll go back and it's not like a progression because it goes from album to album. It'll be different. Right. And so there is something to be said about like you could theoretically,
I could easily do that
into a single song, right? But you don't. So I don't know if there's anything you can speak to on that.
Oh, there's so much shit I can speak to on that. I mean, you're right. It's always been like my pursuit in vocals has always been like trying to master every aspect of vocals that I can do. So when there are kids coming out who can do crazy shit, like, you know, Will is kind of the king of doing that type, like crazy shit right now. And when I started, you know, hearing his vocals around and stuff, I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to learn what this kid can do and just add that to my arsenal. So anytime I hear something cool or new with singing or with screaming, I always try to learn it. I never want to be like one of those old people who's like, you know, I'm not learning what these stupid kids are doing, because I was, I mean, not that Will is even that much younger than me, but it's like, I was a kid once who was in the scene who was doing new shit, and I knew that the older people who were scoffing at that stuff were closing themselves off to being as good as they could be, right? If that makes sense. So it's like I've always wanted to learn to do everything, but speaking to doing like crazy layers and a bunch of vocal Olympics and high, low, blah, blah, every fucking technique in every single song, it's really desensitizing. Like all of a sudden, someone who's the best vocalist in the world, I can't even tell that they're very good at vocals because they're doing the same thing all the time. And I personally think that like a great musician knows how to serve a song and knows how to create an emotional or a landscape, a good song that may not visit every single voice they have to do. I don't care if I do a whole song in lows and someone never fucking knows that I can do highs. I don't care if I sing a whole song and people don't even know that I'm a screamer or vice versa. I just do what serves the song and what serves the lyrics. And I care about songwriting, but I want to be able to employ all of these different sounds whenever it's necessary, because sometimes, you know, I'll go through several different vocals. Like Mark and I will do a part with a super low, like a super, I want to call it a cucked low, but it's not a low. It's not a cucked low. It's just like a super techniqued low, you know? So I'll do like a super techniqued low, a super techniqued high. And then I'll do something that's a little more maybe witchy and like outlandish and not as like techniqued. And we'll try it all and see what fits over the part, whichever serves it the most. So I pay a lot of attention to that because not every vocal sounds good over every single part. You know, sometimes highs are the most fucking annoying possible thing that you can do over a part. And it's, yeah, I feel the same about like super wanky guitar. It's like you're being such a crazy guitar player that you're desensitizing me to even knowing that you're good at all. You might as well just be like, you know, tapping around. I don't know what the fuck is going on if you're not serving a song. So
yeah, it's like it's kind of, I keep saying it, it's like, it's okay, you have skills, but if the whole time you're just showing everything you can do, it's going to be more exhausting than anything else. And I think it ties back to what you said about emotion. You said like, as even when you were a kid, like you were latching on like the emotion and stuff like that. Like, I don't want to be mean against anybody, but like, it's hard to feel some emotions with 25 layers and just doing all the different, like it's something, it works you know, for what they're trying to do. But I'm just saying like the emotion, of course, like the tone, like what gives the emotion, especially somebody like you can do like singing and the voice and by the way, I think my favorite thing might be, because we talked about new metal, and I'm gonna call it your new metal parts with like the singing. It's like,
dude,
thank you.
I gotta say it, empty on the inside is by far my favorite Entheos track.
I was
thank you.
that one.
So sick, dude.
Well, then you will love our new album if you like that song. Yeah, we're kind of like pushing. I personally, like, I know that people will sometimes categorize my band as like tech death. I don't like tech death. I don't listen to it. Like, it's not my shit. All of my friends know this. I'm very outspoken about how much I do not, it's whatever. They're not offended by this, but it's not what I want to play. And I think that a lot of the time people, like, if you are a musician, like the musicians that I play with, where they're like the craziest musicians of all time, and of course they're so good that they want to show it off all the time. So we all kind of land in tech death a little bit. And I've just wanted to like move the band in this direction, and so has Naveen. And so we've teased it a little bit with, like, we had a song called I'm the Void that was more of a rock song. And I think that song gave us the confidence that we needed to like really go in this direction. Not to say that we've lost, we still have like elements of old Entheos, but we've very much like honed in on songwriting. And Empty on the Inside is my favorite song that we've released by far, by fucking far. And that's the most like Chaney that we've sounded. So.
Well, I was going to point out that again, I was saying earlier, like, it's like this one in particular doesn't have like the high low type of thing. It's more of a mid, and you hear your voice in it. Yeah. Right. Like that. And that's something like, if something's going to get me with vocals, it's that when you can really kind of hear the voice of the person in their scream. And it ties back obviously to this emotion thing we're talking about, but that the screaming you do at the end of that song.
Oh, that like pitched thing.
Oh, dude, it's
there's
so
a lot
sick.
of that on the new album. Thank you.
Oh, it's so awesome.
I've always, as far as like the mid-range, like visceral vocal that you're talking about, I owe a lot of doing that to Mark Lewis. Just because, like, before our last EP, Naveen and I had always recorded the vocals, and me being, I never learned under anyone, but I've always been a very techniqued vocalist, and working with Mark is obsessed with Slayer and bands like that. And he wants to pull out like that visceral element of my voice. And there are so many times that I would not have opted for that kind of vocal just because of my background. And Mark is like, dude, I'm sorry, but like that super low or whatever you're doing right now, that technique high, it's just not fucking hitting on this part. I feel nothing. The cucked low. It is cucked. He's like that cucked low is cucking the fuck out of this song. Okay. So, Mark, I love working with Mark, and I don't think I'll ever make another record without Mark being there and producing the record, just because, he's such a close friend of mine, and I trust him so much with what we do, that when he encourages me to do something like that, I do it, and I listen to what he has to say. And I really, really love that voice as well. So thank you. It means a lot that you picked up on that.
Yeah. And there's even just the style of the song as well. It's kind of the industrial kind of goth kind of vibe to it.
We're going there.
It's really cool. I don't know. I love it. And look, kind of cheesy, but this fits what Naveen's done in the past too so much.
I know.
So you're saying this is the most you've sounded, and then I hear the stuff that he's done, electronic projects and stuff like that, and I'm like, man, this just works, right? Like, I
think you're totally right. Yeah, it's like we've always been searching. You said this earlier. It's like there are eras of our band. We kind of have looked at it that way too, because it's like our favorite bands. My favorite band is Fleetwood Mac. If you look at Fleetwood Mac's discography, there are different eras of the band. Like, there's Rumors, where it's pure classic rock. Then there's Tango in the Night. It gets more experimental. These bands don't keep a sound forever, but they learn how to push all of their sounds together in an even more concise way. And like Entheos, this version of Entheos has always been here since the beginning. We've just kind of been swimming around, like, trying to latch on.
small
exactly.
parts here and there, because you've had that pitched voice before on early records since the beginning of Entheos, right? But it's come and gone, and now, so I feel like you're pulling all these different elements that have been throughout the band and kind of making this a whole thing, right? Sorry to cut you off.
Absolutely. No, you're totally right. Yeah, and we've done that, and on this new record, we've really pushed into, there's a track that's like a straight up industrial track that doesn't even have. It only has drums on it and a couple parts. There's an acoustic song. It's like we're really pushing in that direction. And like, we aren't really interested in like being a part of a genre or being called a deathcore band, a tech death band, a this band. We just want to be a metal, like a maybe alternative metal band. Most specifically, we just want to be Entheos, like we just want to keep honing in our thing. That I don't really think that we sound like other bands. Maybe there are aspects that sound like other bands, and of course by happenstance, because Scott has written so much Fallujah, Michael has written so much Allegiant, Naveen has played in every, he's written parts for the Faceless and every other project he's been in. So we're a sum of all of that for sure, but we're just keeping pushing in the Entheos direction, and that's the only goal we have. Like, we don't see ourselves as strictly being a part of a scene or like being pigeonholed to one thing. And luckily, I think that we've cultivated like a fan base who accepts that about us, which I feel super fortunate for, because so many bands don't have that. So many bands, it's like the minute that they try to deviate, everyone's like, fuck this band. Like, and I think that we've kind of established since the beginning that we are weird as fuck, and we're always going to be weird and do what we want. So I feel lucky for that.
Have you been tapped in at all to the discourse around the Boundaries mix on the first single they dropped for the new record?
I've never listened to that band before. I have no idea. I might. I very well
on an emotional front would make sense, and they're to me the most kind of reminiscent of that kind of era of metalcore from the Misery Signals and all that sort of stuff.
Metal with a modern, like I think you might.
Yeah.
Okay, I will definitely listen to it. I'm open to anything. There's just so much fucking music out there that it's hard to keep up.
But the TLDR to the whole thing is they put out a song, and the entire scene decided that they were producers and didn't like the mix. Mm-hmm. And they ended up changing the mix.
No, they didn't. No.
Yeah. Look, there's like a broader story around this.
Never apologize, dude. Never apologize. You never apologize.
Especially when it comes to artistic intent, right? Like, so anyways, but all that to say that, like, you're saying you're grateful for having cultivated a fan base that is willing to accept changes in sound, and that to me is like, it's a rare thing these days. I feel like really a lot of fan bases, man, are like so fucking anal about specific things. It doesn't not even a change in sound. Like, oh, the mix is kind of not what I enjoy. Like, dude. Well,
so will you tell me the truth? Like, what was bad with the mix beforehand? Now I'm gonna listen to both of them and. Try to if I can find the
because I actually liked it personally, so I don't.
They sounded so similar. It's a whole
That's
thing.
The thing with mixes, dude. I'm listening. I'm going through listening to mixes right now. Like that's what we're in the mixing stage, and I'm like, well, all right, I can hear it a little better than before. It's like the shit just gets so minuscule. It's like
to me. To me, my TLDR is on my opinion about it is more so like there was artistic intent. It was sounding a certain way because that's how they wanted it to sound. Again, to serve the song, like the song catered to that sort of a mix. It was a bit of a, it's got kind of like a. It's really raw, like, but by design, like that's how they wanted it to sound. And it's just their previous record didn't sound like that from a mixed perspective. It was a lot cleaner, but like you listen to the song they put out and like it makes sense for the song that they put out. And I think the record is just going to be like that. So to me, I don't know. I love fucking MySpace deathcore. So I'm obviously the last person to complain about a mix sounding raw.
About a mix, yeah.
But especially in a world where everything is so digital and sounding so fucking clean nowadays.
Don't even,
right?
dude.
So it's like, to me, I saw no issue, but you know, maybe I'm just less picky on that sort of stuff.
Well, I'm really picky, so now I want to hear it. I agree with you. Like our whole new album. I mean, Empty on the Inside is a good indication of where we're going. Like we are going really hard for a raw product, but we mean raw with like good production. We mean like visiting the 90s, revisiting the 90s and bringing in mixes like, you know, those old Slipknot mixes, like Marilyn Manson shit. Even there's some parts that are like more grungy and like a mix like that. So it's like, it's really polished production, but it's real musicians. And I think that there's like a lot of people can't differentiate between what we're talking about when we say that. My problem with such clean production is usually that the drums are not fucking real and are super quantized and super sound replaced and don't sound like a drummer. And what ends up happening on so many records now is that, like, dude, a part of the joy of listening to music is listening to a record and being like, this guy is the guy that played on that record. So what do we do when we have Naveen Copperweiss as the drummer of our band and we take all of his drums, like a dude who like has really like there are tones that are significant of Naveen's sound, like his snares specific. You can't take these aspects out of those recordings. So people are taking the musicianship out of recordings. You can't fucking tell who's playing on anything now for the most part. Of course, there are like some standout records that you definitely can tell who the musician is on there, but so many bands,
those are the iconic records. So I just need to slot that in.
No, you're fucking right.
Those are the records.
Those are the iconic records.
Yeah.
Those are the iconic records. It's like, dude, so many records, you can only tell that the vocalist is different. Like everyone could be the same musician because everything is so fucking like run through the same digital amp, the same, you know, they're playing the same guitar down to the same fucking guitar.
Yeah, the producer followed the same tutorials on YouTube on how to get the architect sound. You know?
Exactly.
That's what it comes down to also.
The place to do that is in metal specifically. Like that's the place where, you know, like we want emotions. You want each member to shine in their own way, not to overtake everything, but to shine in their own way. Like the problem I have, that's something I say all the time. Like, it's okay when the modern mix serves the band. Like I do acknowledge that for specific settings, sometimes that's what they need, works super well. But at the same time, a problem I have very often is it's so all together that nothing stands out. So I'm just listening to this, like it's a line like this.
Yeah, it's a wall of sound.
Back in the days, you would listen, even like old school metalcore, you would hear like August Burns Red and shit, like it would be shit, like
you hear the imperfections, you hear they leave it in.
Imperfections, dynamic, like what the fuck happened to dynamics in music, dude? I hate that I can listen
everything.
Yeah,
dude,
it's just
I hate
like
it.
one line. It's
it's a wall of sound, and everyone, you know, there's a push to like achieve this thing so that you can end up on certain playlists and certain whatever, and like follow the crowd. That's what happens, you know. People, of course, when something takes off, a million other bands are going to chase that and try to do that.
Yes.
But one thing I wish I could go back. And well, I mean, I can. I don't even have to go back to say this. But one thing that I wish, like, I could tell a lot of people is like, dude, no one, like, this is just a flash in the pan, and that band is already doing that. Like, no one, that band is gonna be the band that's still doing that 10 years from now, and everyone else is gonna fall off. Like, we don't need copycats in this world. We need actual artists who are doing something fucking unique and different, and those are the people who tend to get noticed, tend to stay legendary, tend to, you know, it's like when you listen to the hugest metal bands like Opeth, who else who's copying Opeth is as big as Opeth? Who else who is actually copying Meshuggah is as big as Meshuggah? No one, because that's done. We're done with it. We don't need it anymore. We don't really need another Lorna Shore, you know? We don't really, and
Dear God,
that,
no, we don't.
Yeah.
I love, don't, it's not against Lorna, I'm just saying it's
No,
insane.
me either. Dude, it's not at all, but it's like, do I really need to hear another one of those fucking breakdowns that the breakdown happens and I'm just like, this is a Lorna Shore breakdown. Don't you guys know this? Like, write a new fucking breakdown, kids. Jesus Christ, you know.
But you have such a good point though, like, and I even think it kind of ties up to the conversation earlier when we were saying that you know, at first people are gonna challenge you when you do something different. I think the same applies to music. Every single band that was a bit different, people were like, what are you doing? A band like, I don't know if you're familiar with Immure, but like they were kind of a big thing.
Goodbye to the Gallows, bro. Of course.
I mean,
hey, that's what's
still
up.
And that is still, I still love that album.
You be my, yeah.
Boom. Still a good album, by the way, for people who don't know that one. But yeah, so Immure, people would shit on Immure because it was different and it wasn't real metal according to some people. I can even go in new metal. How many new metal bands, like new metal period was hated like crazy from, because the word, how dare they use the word metal? It's not metal. Like that was the entire thing, I remember. And look at those bands now. Limp Bizkit, freaking legends. Like even
gigantic.
like they're huge, and people were laughing at me when I would say that I loved Limp Bizkit back then. Like
I loved, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Chocolate Starfish, man. Yeah.
So the irony is, it's way safer to be in the shadow of something that works and is respected or whatever, but you're going to be in the shadow of it, and after that you're gone and lost. It's way more difficult maybe to create your own thing, but I think my advice, and I know it doesn't work every single time, but embrace your weirdness and what makes you different. Yeah, different in terms of like just go for it. Oh, we don't, yeah, but it doesn't sound like anything perfect. Great, good. Do that.
The bands, dude, I mean, I can relate to that. I can relate to my bands totally not fitting with any fucking other band. On most tours, we don't sound like any other band, but in the long run, it has helped us to stand out. And like, I encourage any band who's doing their own thing. It is so hard. Like Bjork has talked about this. It is so hard. And it was so hard for her to not be following a trend and not to, you know, because that's the easiest way to succeed in the moment. It's very short-sighted. It's very short-sighted.
Everyone around her probably told her too, right?
Of course.
The industry folks, the people in her in day-to-day life, like 100%. Everyone probably told her like, stop with the weird shit, you know?
Oh, I'm sure. And then it's like, you know, she was talking about how she's so grateful that she stuck to her guns because now she's the only one left standing. And it is very hard. It's very hard to like do your own thing and not really sound like any other bands. But those are my favorite bands, you know. And those are the bands that tend to stand the test of time. But that's only something that you really, you know, can know from like being around for a long time and kind of seeing the forest from the trees and
observing and
yeah, of course.
You see entire scenes go out of business a couple of times, and you kind of realize that, you know, which ones are left here, and you're
that was
not that many
before.
You know, so what did they do? And you know, it's all the weird ones, it's all the ones that stood out, it's all.
And it goes to the artists themselves as well, because I have like a YouTube channel where I just tell those stories, like all the bands we're talking about, like Veil of Maya, Suicide, like I just like kind of tell their stories as a band. And one thing I've noticed, every success story ever, it's cliche to say like that they don't care, but it's kind of true. Like most of them that they're doing their thing. Look at a band like, that's an example we name a lot on here, but like Bermuda Horizon is a really good example.
Oh, dude, great example.
Like, and of course they receive tons of hate. I'm not saying it's easy what they've done. Like they're one of the very few. I'm just saying they reinvented themselves 50 billion times. Sorry to, but
no, I'm interrupting you. I mean, that's a perfect example. Architects is another pretty good example. It's like those bands have been fearless. Those are the type of bands that I look up to. Ones that don't give a fuck. Ones that don't fold to maybe the online discourse and just stay true to their guns. Because the hate, like if people aren't talking shit about you, then you're really not successful. Honestly, like you're not getting the attention that you want. So it's like, that's just a part of doing this. You know, you're going to see people talk shit about you. Someone's going to hate what I'm saying right now. You know, someone's going to talk shit about this. You just have to learn to stop fucking caring. And it comes with confidence. To circle back to what we were talking about at the very beginning, it comes with confidence and just being confident in yourself and your vision. And really, you have to learn to not give a fuck. That's it.
And it's when we realize, 'cause I think we all have that moment when you realize that the people you look up to, they're doing their thing. Anybody you look up to, like idols or whatever, I don't want to call them like that, but like people that, like Mitch Lucker, people I was talking earlier, you know, Linkin Park, Chester, whatever, they have a vision, they're doing their vision, they're well aware. Don't you think they're not, you think they don't know they got some hate and stuff? They know for sure.
Of course they know.
They all know, but they're moving on. And not only they know, but they're not upset by it. They know it's there, it's okay. And and I think that's freeing, because the first step that I think is freeing in our lives is to realize that you give powers to people. Like, I'm aware that I walk in my small city and half of people are probably thinking I'm a loser, I'm homeless. Who cares? but which is probably what's happening, to be honest.
Chaney, for reference, very small town. I can attest.
What town do you live in?
It's close to Montreal. It's called Drummondville. It's really small. Here's my address. I'm kidding. No, but it's
the social security number.
100K maybe. You know, population.
Yeah, it's fairly small.
Smaller,
and people are really nice, right?
Regional.
It's not, but it's just they're not used to that.
It fucking better be. It's Canada, dude.
Yes,
I know you guys are French, but you still have to be nice.
Yes, by default, our default setting is to be nice. You would be surprised though, but yeah. So half of people are thinking that, but I think the first step is to realize it. But then the other step is to not be upset and just accept. It's fine. It's their vision. It's their perception. Could be age. Could be generation. Could be just their own perception. Like, you never know what they're. If you're a kid and your whole life, I was fortunate to have parents, and I'm sure same for you guys, to just accept everybody and not discriminate and be nice. But it's not everybody who grew up like that. Some parents were telling their kids that you're a quote unquote loser if you do this and this. So I cannot blame them to have like perceptions and stuff like that. So I think these artists, not only do they know that they got a lot of hate, but even beyond that, they understand where it's coming from. They're not even upset and they're just doing their thing. That's personally what I think in most cases.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I mean, dude, it's like we play metal. So from the beginning, there was hate. There was like, what the hell are you listening to? What are you even attempting to do? So it's like, that's really like been the story the whole time. Yeah. So why not push? You know, I do think that a lot of people who come out and they're like, we're this kind of band, we're that kind of band, they start to regret it a little later into their career when they really want to break out. And actually, you know, a lot of people actually do want to incorporate singing and stuff. I know I hear my friends talk about it who are bands that you all know of that don't have singing. And it's like, they wish that they could incorporate singing or, you know, bring in new elements, but they feel like their fans would turn against them. So it's like musicians find themselves pigeonholed. And that was not ever a place that Navina or I were going to let ourselves be, because we're multifaceted musicians. You know, it's like, why would a fan of what we do want to hear only one side of what we can do? And why would you want to pigeonhole me? Because in return, that would make me want to pursue a side project or to quit this band, because I wouldn't find happiness doing just doing one thing for the rest of my life. I would, and full disclosure, like Naveen and I, before in 2020, we decided that Entheos would at the time be a 2-person band. But before that, both of us were talking about quitting the band because we did not want to write this type of shit. Like, we were writing music for a side project. And one of the songs is I'm the Void. And another one of the songs is coming out on our album later this year. And when we made the decision that we were not going to be like constrained, that is when we both started to feel the most free to do what we wanted to. And like, we could actually make our visions come true. I don't ever want to be stuck in a band where I can only do one thing, or where other people are telling me that I can't write about this. I can't talk about this or sing this way, or I can't do that. I'm not that type of person. So.
And what's the point also? Like, if I may add to what you're saying, like, if you really love an artist or somebody, you want them to do what they want and to be real. I don't want my favorite artist. Of course, inside you have a specific, like, if you love an artist, like, you kind of wish they're going to do something that is in line with what you love. But more than anything, you're supposed to, like, I don't want another album from a band that I love that sounds similar. If they don't want to do that, I don't want it. Right. Like, I want them to do what's the point?
Yeah. I also just think it's not that deep. Like, I think fandoms are weird in that, like, if a band puts out an album that you don't enjoy, it's also okay. That doesn't mean you have to stop liking the band, and it doesn't erase the music that you already love from the band, right? Like, it's just, I don't know, to me, I feel like, and look, it's no judgment, because I get it. Music can be a very, I don't know. People identify themselves through music and get emotionally attached to music and artists that they enjoy. So I get that. I'm not like that, so it's easier for me to say it this way. But I understand where people are coming from. But it really is kind of that simple. Like, though the music still exists. It's all good.
Exactly.
I think it's specific to metal also, because, like, somehow people, it's like something they wear on their sleeves that they only listen to that, which is okay if that's what you do. But, like, to me, you're
listen to other shit, you guys. I mean, I swear to God, like, other music is really good.
Because to me, I'm listening to so many, like even our acoustic songwriter. Like, people don't know that. Like, I wake up, I put, like, I don't know if you know Angus and Julia Stone. It's like they used to do, like, acoustic albums and stuff like that. And if you listen to many things, you're going to be surprised, because if an artist, a quote unquote heavy artist, release something different, maybe it's going to be another part of what you like that you're going to enjoy. Like, we talked about Bring Me the Horizon earlier. Like, of course, like, if you ask me, like, my first love with them is, like, Prefer Play and what they did with the deathcore stuff. But also, I'm a dude who loves, like, pop punk music, like Bling and stuff. So, like, their new stuff is, like, I like it in a different way. So if people would be just a bit more open, we were talking about new metal earlier. Take Slipknot when they released, what's the acoustics for, like, it was Snuff, I think.
Are you talking about Snuff? Yeah. Well, I mean, the Subliminal Verses also, that was so fucking polarizing when that came out, but that's my favorite Slipknot album. So.
I think it might. Is it the one, like,
it's the one that Duality is on.
Okay, that's my favorite. That's personally my favorite, and not to say, of course, like the first one, but that's my personal favorite. But they released, like, an acoustic song that I thought was absolutely insane. But if you're close, you're gonna be like, that's not heavy. Yeah, they're not trying.
Yeah, the gatekeeping thing with metal is for the birds. Honestly, like, I don't just. Music is music, and music can be good even if it's not, like, the thing that you would normally gravitate to. And what you're saying is totally true. It's like sometimes you only listen to metal, and then your favorite metal band does something different. You listen to that, and now all of a sudden this new thing is unlocked in your brain, and you can seek out artists who do that. It's a beautiful thing. Like, why the fuck would you close yourself off to all of the incredible art that exists in the world strictly because you want to be cool and tell everyone that you only listen to music with screaming in it? Like, who gives a fuck, dude? It's not even. No one cares. You're not tough.
The dude that only specifically listens to the bands whose logos are on his battle vest.
Oh my God!
No other band.
Yeah, dude. And imagine. I mean, just think of how boring that is. That's incredibly boring to just be so, like, turned off to most of the world. Like, dude, how many metal bands are there compared to all of the other music that exists? And honestly, when you only listen to one style of music, if you are a musician, your music starts to become homogenized into that. Like, some of the best influences for me working within the metal spectrum have been getting into things that have nothing to do with metal and trying to pull that into metal, because no one probably knows where my influences are coming from, but they're very much not in the realm of music that I play. Otherwise, my band would sound like all of those bands.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure I take your entire band. No one is just listening to the same thing in that band. Like,
No.
I mean, no one is. That's the only
empty on the inside doesn't exist. If only tech death was the thing being listened to.
Exactly. Yeah, no one in my band. We all have we're very aligned on like listening to everything. Like, dude, when we're on tour and we're in the RV and drinking at like 3 a.m. and just vibing with each other, we're usually listening to like classic rock or like electronic music like Justice, or we're dancing and we're having hella fun. We're not listening to fucking tech death. I would
how dare you
end it. I would end it. I know. Yeah, we're not turning on
Epitaph on Lambgoat,
Chaney Crabb not listening to Necrophagist at 3 a.m. in the morning when she's drunk. Yeah, dude, because I don't want to be fucking anxious, okay? I'm trying to like chill and party with my boys. Like, I'm listening to like fucking, I don't know, like the latest Doja Cat or whatever. I'm trying to like dance and, whatever's happening at the gay club is what we're playing in the Entheos RV, pretty much.
Completely fine. But it's my favorite thing to observe. Like, who would have thought? Rules in metal, like, who are we? Like, let's just be honest, just to listen to that you have to be a little crazy, which I'm fine with. I think we all are to a certain degree, right? Like, you cannot it's fine, but putting rules in that, like, oh, you're supposed, what are we doing like, here? It's like,
we're supposed to be the rule breakers. Like, isn't that what we're supposed to be? Like the outcasts of society, and all of a sudden we formed this utopia over here where we're like, you can't participate in anything that doesn't have to do with this. That's bullshit.
I mean, it's
also like a cult.
Because they wear hats.
Like, it's also just
you
silly.
have to have like a flat bill that has like rings of Saturn art under it. Otherwise, you're not welcome. Fuck, dude. Get out of here with that shit.
It's also just silly. Like, we're fucking listening to people scream into a microphone. Like, it's all not that serious. That's my take.
Truly.
On it.
If I may add to, I'm gonna sound older than I ever sounded in my life. Let the youth be the youth. Like, the gatekeepers that are like, with all due respect, like 50, like, it's okay. Kids are gonna latch on to new things. Completely fine, which is like, that's the future. No scene is gonna survive with just old people gatekeeping everything. It's all gonna die. There's gonna be nothing left.
Though, sorry, old guys. Knock, knock. Attention, all old guys. You're gonna die, and those young kids are about to be the old guys soon. And trends never last, man. I just named about 5 that I've lived through earlier. It's like, I've seen them all come and go. So this shit never lasts, and new things happen. I mean, the same thing dude, I was there when like people started doing drum playthroughs and guitar playthroughs and vocal playthroughs. Do you know how stupid everyone thought that was when it started? Everyone was like, this is so fucking whack. That person is playing on camera right now. What a loser. Like, boo.
Vocalist specifically, and you've done it, so you know what I'm talking about. But like,
the amount of shit that I got.
Actually. That's how I discovered it. With vocals on I'm gonna remember. Your videos were popping up. Sorry, I just got.
I mean, a long chain of different moments of virality when it pertains to doing vocal videos specifically online. I mean, it started with Veil, right? Like, that was that really took a turning point for you.
Oh, that was wild, man. Yeah, and no one wanted to do vocal videos back then. This was in 2014. And I was just like, fuck it. You know what? I'll be the cringy one on camera. I don't give a shit. I always knew, because like I said, Common Man's Collapse is like one of my favorite albums of that era. And I've known Veil of Maya for a long time. I actually met them the same night that I met Naveen. They were on tour together. So I always knew that if Brandon quit Veil, I was going to try out for the band. So I found out that they quit Veil. Sumerian had coincidentally asked Naveen to do a remix of Unbreakable, so he had the instrumental track. That's how I got it. And Naveen just hit up Mark and was like, hey, do you care if Chaney does a cover of this and we just post on the internet? And Mark was like, fucking go for it. And I didn't know that song. I'd kind of fallen out of Veil of Maya at that point, and I learned that song in like 10 minutes and then did that cover. I think that was my second time through the song. And I didn't expect anything to come of it. But yeah, we posted it to the internet, and Naveen left the next day to go on tour in Europe with his Naveen K project with Tesseract and Animals. And I was viral the next day, like Revolver. And the next day was like my birthday. And Revolver magazine was reposted. Like it was all over the internet. And that was like a really wild fucking moment for me. Because I wasn't in a band at the time. And, you know, a lot of people tried to get me into Veil of Maya, and I was one of the final people who were trying out for the band. And at the end of the day, they hit me up and they wanted, I think the song ended up being called Mikasa.
Yeah.
That was Lucas's first song. And I have a whole version of that song that's like what I wrote for it, hidden on my computer. I still have it.
But they wanted. I'm very curious to hear that, actually. Sorry.
Well, you know, that song, my version does not have singing in it because they told me, they were like, the band really wants to add singing. Their manager hit me up, and I was like, in all honesty, me joining the band would be a huge change. I'm a woman, you know, I'm not like oblivious to that. And I was like, me then coming in and being a woman in the band now and adding singing, I'm not really interested in this. So I did send them a singing audition. And obviously we all know where I'm at, what I'm doing right now. And I'm singing all over everything. I can sing. I didn't want to do that in their band. So I'm sure that was a part of why I didn't get chosen in the long run. And Lucas is a great vocalist, and I've toured with him many times since then. But yeah, that was kind of like the kickoff of all of it for me.
I would just be curious, because you're saying that, I know you said you didn't, but like your version right now with singing on that specific song would probably be pretty insane. I think that's why I was.
Yeah, definitely. I would be interested to hear it for sure. My singing is just different. Like, you know, I rest in a more like mellow, ethereal voice, and Lucas is kind of more of the Spencer Sotelo school.
Ironically enough, like way less high pitch, you know.
Yeah, I know. Yep, that was never my thing, man. So yeah, I'd be interested to hear it though.
Yeah, because I was saying, like, that's how I discovered you, actually. I would see a lot of you after that, like videos of Totoro. And I'm always, every time I open a comment section, I'm always terrified because like it's Instagram, and I was like, and some people like metal and like a woman screaming, and I was actually happily surprised. I was like, people are, oh nice, people are cool over here, you know what I'm saying? Because I see it every single day, like people just, I'm always like, and I'm the one who's, and it never ends. I'm the one being like, you know, responding to these people. Don't do that. It's not.
I never respond to them. I'm like, think whatever the fuck you want. I don't give a shit.
I never do that for myself, weirdly, but like to defend strangers on the internet, I'm doing it. But no, it was the opposite, actually. People were surprised. They were saying that your scream, if they didn't see you, they wouldn't have guessed that it was like a woman screaming. And so like they were like just like kind of surprised and stuff. And from memory, your videos were doing well on top of that. Like most of what
many viral videos on the internet.
Many viral vids. Yeah.
What's your relationship with social media? Because it is like a big part of, I'd assume so, at the very least, you know, what's propelled you at the very least into.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I mean, social media
in metal.
Social media social media changed everything for my band, but my relationship to it is I am only on it for my band, really, and just to like be funny, honestly. Just to like make funny fucking stories or whatever. If I didn't have a band to promote, I'm not that connected to social media. I just care a lot about my band doing well, and I know what I know ways in which to achieve that. Did I ever know or predict that I personally was going to go viral? No. When my band started, I was by far the least famous person in my band by a fucking long shot. Like Evan and Naveen were like, everyone knew who they were. And it's like, who the fuck is this girl? You know? I never ever could have predicted that. And I do make, you know, I'm down to make videos. The videos that I post take me Naveen and I probably spend 20 minutes doing those like once every month or two. And I post them and I just never really think about social media ever again unless we have a tour announcement or something like that. Because really I am kind of a private person as far as like I'm not getting on the internet to share my deepest, darkest secrets or any of that. Like I'm pretty, I like to keep that in or just let it out with writing. I do still appreciate like having some mystique, I guess. Not that I plan for that, but I just don't involve everyone to the most degree because I think that the internet can be so you can just feel so naked on the internet. I felt like it a lot when we had a podcast. Like I was like,
oh yeah, for sure.
We're speaking so much on the internet. I would like people to like not know everything about me sometimes. Cause it was even like weird. Sometimes people would repeat things to me that I'm like, how do you even know that? And then I'd remember, oh yeah, we said it on the podcast. Okay. But yeah, I enjoy maintaining some kind of disconnect because if I were to get too caught up in it, I mean, there's something for me to be mad about every single day. There's there's something to be insecure about or jealous of, or these people got, and I just don't care to participate in any of that. I want to be an artist and I like care about that. That's really all I care about. And that's like what's kept probably both Naveen and I going for so long is because we actually don't really care about any of the other stuff. It's just like a means to an end. And the end is growing our band. Like that's what we care about. Just like being able to continue this career going and continue living this like utopian dream fantasy that going back to that inner child thing, like my 13-year-old self, there's so many times that I've been able to be like, dude, like just thinking about like, dude, look what we did. Look what we fucking did. This is crazy. Like this summer, we're opening for Ginger and we're playing in Des Moines on the first stage that I saw Slipknot on. And it's like, I've never gotten a chance to play that venue before. And I can't wait for that moment. I've already like thought in my mind of how I'm going to probably cry on stage and say something, those moments are big for me and none of that is lost on me or having fans of my band. Like I remember when I was in bands years ago and I would just click on my fucking email constantly. Like I wish someone would say something to me about my band, or I wish like we'd get hit up. Yep. There we go from Citizen Soldier. I wish someone would hit us up and give us a tour offer or say something cool, and now I get to experience that on like a daily basis. And I have never forgotten that. And I've never let that go. It's a huge deal to me. Like, I'm so grateful.
I think it's a beautiful thing, like, cause it's, I don't know, like, I know I keep saying, oh, I'm spiritual and stuff like that. Like, I don't even understand how you cannot be spiritual. I mean, whatever,
yeah,
but I don't get it. Like nothing we live is normal, by the way, like nothing. Like,
no.
I don't know what is this concept of things are normal. We're in the middle of the universe. Like we create life on Earth. Like nothing is normal, by the way.
No.
But the inner child thing, like I do believe that it's important to do that. You're about to go on stage and just like, this is why you're proud. Like just a moment to remember, like I did it. Like, all the difficult moments, stress, whatever all your stress you went through. Like, so I think it's a good thing to take 1 second. It might sound stupid because it's like, no, but it's a beautiful moment. Yes. But just to take a moment and be like, I pushed through and talk to you your inner child being like, we're here. We're here. Look at him. Despite what anybody said, despite all the difficulties and everything.
Fuck all that stuff. I mean, if people could only see how many times I've like been crying to Naveen about this or that. It's so hard being in a band. It's exceptionally hard being in a band with your significant other where you're both relying, like if the band loses money, it's not one of us losing money and getting to go home and have like a safety net. We're both fucked. And now we have to figure out how to deal with that. And it's like, I mean, going back to what you said about people only get to really see the successful moment.
Yeah.
I remember I still see all of those moments when it's like, how are we even going to keep this going? Because we have a merch bill that's just like, we're never going to be able to cover this shit, or we lost money making this decision, or this, or this, or this. But the reality is that, like, if we didn't keep going, then we wouldn't see what's happening now. Like, dude, us doing our first headlining tour last fall.
Gotta talk about the champagne.
The champagne, yeah. So our friend Dean, who's a fan of Entheos, like an OG fan of Entheos in the UK, maybe like 5 years ago, we were opening for Archspire, and Dean brought us this bottle of champagne, an Entheos that he had like specially made for us. And Naveen and I swore to each other that we would never open that bottle of champagne until we could sell out a show. And when we booked, it's so much pressure taking on a headlining tour. At least it was for us, because, you know, people know about CD sales and all this shit. Really, what makes or breaks you in the music industry right now in metal is how many tickets can this band sell as a headlining band.
Yeah.
It could have gone really bad for us. And we had no idea because we'd never done a headlining tour before. You know, we know that we can see that the band has been picking up steam, and we can see, you know, people are stoked on us on other tours that we do, but you never know until you do it, what it's going to be like. So we like sold out Nashville way ahead of time, way before the tour even started. And it was actually the day that we shot the video for Empty on the Inside. And we threw a party that night for my birthday, and we fucking popped the champagne at that show, man. Or at that party, because we're like, we sold out a fucking show. And then we thought that would be the only sellout, but like throughout the tour, it's like there were several nights that we were selling out 400, 500 cap venues. And it's like, as a band who it's taken a long time for us to get here, you have no idea how many times we've been told we're fucking shot. We're not going to get a tour. We're not going to get this. We've been through it all, man. So to come from all of that to like now selling out shows of 500 people, like looking in the crowd and there are 500 people there to see your band. That's such a monumental thing. Like, I can't even explain like what was going through my mind on those nights. Like every single day we were just expecting for the show to be shot. Okay, how many tickets are sold tonight? 12. And every night it was like crazy. And all of our friends, you know, obviously, Scott is a very close friend of ours, and we wanted to take Fallujah on the tour. And, you know, all of Fallujah lives here. We're close with all of those guys. So having them there, having a Zenith Passage on the tour with us, who we've known forever, you know, Naveen and Derek Ridquist and Brandon Giffen, who's the bassist and vocalist of Zenith, have been touring together for the past like 25 years because they're in the Faceless. And
who hasn't?
Justin, yeah, exactly. Who hasn't been the and you know, we've lived with Keen, so we've all been there. Yeah, and like Justin McKinney, we've known him forever. Like having such close friends of ours there to be able to share in those moments with us, it's just like, fuck, man, this is so cool. But we never would have gotten there if we would have like let something get in our way. If we could have stopped at any given moment. There have been so many times.
And on top of that, again, like you have both at the same time, because like I think it's a good, like being a couple, it's like, oh wow, they're a couple, yes, but it's also like all those challenges you face it as a couple on top of, and being in a couple period for a long time is challenging by itself.
Of course.
And then you've got all those challenges. So like it's, people don't think about that, but it's also probably very difficult to like separate these things, because like usually you have two separate works, so two environments. So for example, one could be stressful, but the other one is going fairly okay, so you're there for the other person. But in your case, it's like if it's going bad, it's like you're
bad for everyone
feeling it. So at least on the other side, if it's going very well, then you're celebrating together. So
now we can celebrate a little bit. But yeah, you're totally right. It's like if there's no, luckily Naveen and I, okay, first thing, it's yes, you join into a band with people. When one of those people is your significant other, you now have to, like Naveen and I were together for 5 years before we started Entheos. So it wasn't, we were not at the beginning of our relationship, so we'd kind of been used to each other in that way. But then you have to all of a sudden switch over to, okay, half of the time we're business partners. We have to make business decisions. We can't be, we are still a couple, but it's like when it comes to us in the studio or us making business decisions, we're bandmates as well. You have to learn how to separate those things, not get emotional, not or recognize that like being in a disagreement in the band doesn't mean that you're in a disagreement as a couple. Then, you know, we all of a sudden were just alone in a band together. So we had to kind of pick the pieces back up. But luckily, Naveen and I are like, it just kind of ebbs and flows for us in a way that like, if one of us is down, the other is like super up, like we got to fucking keep going. And it always has kind of ended up like that. But we, at this point, it's like, we're very cognitive of, you know, we've gotten in fucking screaming matches. I'm not going to lie and say that we haven't screamed at each other over the band or decisions or whatever else. But it's like over time, you just iron those things out and learn how to work together because it's an added pressure. We now are in charge of, you know, bringing other people into the band. And Naveen and I do not. We're both very strong-minded, independent individuals. And neither of us, like, we will fight for what we think is right between each other. And, you know, we don't always just agree with each other because it's like, yeah, babe, totally, whatever you say. Like we stick true to our guns. So that's, you know, also a thing you have to maneuver. But it's like, if you're with the right person to do that with, then it becomes easier over time. But it's like, we've been a band for fucking 11 years now. So we had to learn how to do all of that stuff.
11 already.
It's incredible, truly. And I think it also ties up, like you said, I don't spend my whole life on social media and stuff like that. I think it also ties up to that because, like, you said something very important. You said, I won't say we never fight and stuff like that. People need to realize, like, it's part of it. You're going to disagree in
I think it's important. Like, it's important.
It's weird. Like, when you're here, just for people watching also, if you hear people saying, oh, we never fight, the first fight you're going to have is going to be the last fight you're going to have. Like,
exactly.
The most combative people that just don't want to say it online.
Yeah, I'm just, or even if it's true, let's say the 3 years never fight. Yeah, what I'm hearing is you don't communicate properly.
Exactly.
That's what I'm hearing. There's no communication. There's no trust on that side. Like, the other person is supposed to be a safe space for sure, but at the same time, it's like you're two different people. Like, even if you live with you live with your best friend in the world, like, and
that was my worst mistake.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Disagreement. So,
of course you are. Yeah, it's like, dude, I agree with you. When people tell me that they never argue, it's a total red flag to me. I'm Italian and my husband is Jewish. We're, you know, it's like, but it's like, motherfucker. I mean, I just last week we were on a FaceTime call with our management and Naveen was saying something and I was saying something and I was like, could you just shut the fuck up for a minute so that I can talk? And they just, you know, that's just, it's not like we're like getting at each other. It's just that we know how to communicate with each other, and it's important to disagree. Why would I want to be with someone who thinks that every single thing that I do is right? That's like not what growth is about, or just agrees with everything that I say. It's like, it leaves little room for any like rocky situations to come about, you know, because then
growth. Right.
And growth.
Like bouncing either ideas off of each other and all that sort of stuff. Right.
Exactly.
There's no value if not.
No, it's similar to the, like, if everyone's a homie, then no one's a homie. It's like, if everything is right, then everything is wrong. You know, it's like there has to be like the dichotomy of the two things, I think, for a healthy dynamic. And it's like, dude, in a band, it's important that we disagree with each other. That's how the best ideas come about. Or, you know, if Naveen and I are in a disagreement with someone or with each other about something that should happen in the band, then we have other band members who can weigh in. And then it's all about like healthy arguments. We don't punch each other or like freak out in crazy ways, but yeah, no, we don't. Speaking only for my own situation, but you know, it's like
there's a gun just outside of frame there. You know?
Yeah. It's all about healthy interactions and healthy arguments, and I am not stimulated by people who agree with everything that I say. Yeah. I want to be able to say something fucking crazy and someone's like, girl, yes, but also calm the fuck down a little bit. Let's, you know.
No. Jen ruined everything. We all agree. We all agree. Look, there is no argument to be had.
Yes, we can agree sometimes. Like
that's exactly what you guys are gonna clip from this episode. And Jen, I know you. I know how this shit works.
I'm pretty sure it's in my notes. I'm not kidding. But yeah, you know. But it's like that's what I keep saying to Dom, because sometimes we talk together. And like I'm the obviously just anxious dreamer, whatever the hell you want to call it.
That's me. Yeah.
Okay, so he's and I'm sure you do the same thing as me, which is to your close circle are people that are not taking any. It's like they tell you, boom, that this is it. That's personally what I need. And sometimes they're like, oh, sorry, don't be sorry. That's what I needed to hear. Completely fine. And this is where the value is. There's absolutely that you talked about your band. Where would be the point of just like one person saying, I think it's cool, and everybody's always like, yep, no problem. Yeah. Like that. There's no like.
Everyone would be unhappy. Everyone would be unhappy, and everyone would quit the band. Like no one wants to be in a band like that where one person is running the fucking show and everything that they say goes. And yes, you do. Like, I'm the exact same. I'm the dreamer. I'm the anxious psycho who all day it's me screaming at not screaming, but just like telling Naveen, like, we should do this. We got to do this. If we do this, we can do this. We're going to do crazy, you know, that's me texting our management. Like, what if we do blah, blah, blah. And I thrive with people around me who can like kind of organize my panic, crazy ADHD mind. You know, it's like, I'll go off about something. We have two of the best managers in the entire game, Steve Davis and Stephanie Shoulders. And Steph, I know that I can, Steph, yeah. I know that. And I know that like I text Steph all hours of the fucking day. Sometimes it's 4:00 in the morning. And I know that I can go off on her and like tell her a bunch of shit and be like, why the fuck is this happening? And she'll just like lay out just perfectly for me and not be emotional and just like, you know, give me the exact rundown of why this is like this and how we do this and why this isn't really a reasonable thought. And I need people. I need friends, and especially people who work with me in artistry and business, to be there, to be that like yin to my yang. You know, it's very important.
I don't think I've ever related to something as much as I'm relating to right now. Not to make it about myself, but like it's exactly.
No, that's what it's all about, dude.
It's my entire life. Like that's how I am. And on top of that, my anxiety right after sending all those messages, like
yeah. Oh my God. If no one's replying, I'm like, fuck, I shouldn't have said that.
And then it's written seen, and then you don't have an answer right away, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like, it's that little moment of anxiety, but yeah, that's why over time you like cultivate the people who you know that those are your safe spaces to like unleash that shit with.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, that's kind of what it's all about, you know?
Yeah. And it comes also to, I think it's to accept that. I don't know about you, but it took me a long time to accept that that's the way that I cannot, you can change certain things, but that what you're describing being dreaming, I cannot stop that. Like, that's just how it's going to be. And when it's all at the same time, it's like, it's going to happen. So I think it's to accept that, but also to be grateful and thank the people in your life that are helping you with these things. I think that's how I would put it.
Absolutely.
I've got a little something that unfortunately you might feel some anxiety over for the rest of your days. And nobody here is going to be able to help you.
Uh-oh.
All right, we're at the part of the show where yes, this will be clipped. Let's do some little social media
hold on.
content.
Let me
like it's as much pressure as you can put.
Absolutely. That's where our guests usually thrive.
Oh God! All right, let's do this shit.
All right, so it's real simple. I'd just like you to give me your top 5 metal records.
Metal records of all time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, that's easy. Special Defects, Frederick Thorndahl's Special Defects, Soul Niger Within. Destroy the Opposition, Dying Fetus. I'm going to throw, since we've talked about Ill's a Modern Man, I'm throwing Ill's a Modern Man in there. Oh, fuck. I mean, if we're going all of metal, it's like, Jesus Christ, dude. I'm going to talk about metal that people who are watching this show will know. I mean, fuck.
It's your list, Chaney. You do what you want with this.
And feel free. You already made people mad because you said Despise Icon and that core isn't real metal. So you're.
Oh, right.
Good.
Yeah, duh. I mean,
so
it's silly me. Silly me. Okay, so I'm going to do Converge and Chelsea Wolf, Blood Moon. Fuck. Oh my God. This is the worst thing ever. Number 5. Did I already say language? Did I already say language by the Contortionist?
You said it earlier,
okay.
But you could.
Let's say that. And these are totally probably I'll think of like 50 more later, but those are the ones that just came
look, that's what this is all about.
Yeah. Perfect. The moment you're gonna close this, you're gonna think about like 10 others that you're gonna be like.
Oh, I know. But yeah, those are. I mean, Soul Niger Within. Are you familiar with this record?
I have never heard that name in my life. I'll be real.
Okay, we all know who Meshuggah is.
Sure.
Frederick Thorndahl is the guitar player of Meshuggah. He has a solo project called Special Defects, and the name of the album is Soul Niger Within. It came out in like 98. Okay. It's him with Morgan Ogren of the Mats Morgan Band on drums. He's more of like a jazzy drummer. And it's a concept album, runs front to back. It's like 45 minutes. You guys should really listen to it if you're into the same kind of metal that I am. Bands like The Faceless, you'll listen to this and you'll be like, oh, now I know what Keen was listening to.
Sure,
or like, you know, everyone loves like Alan Holdsworth solos. Frederick Thorndahl is like a super worshiper of Alan Holdsworth, the guitar player. Naveen is, and you'll just start to, I think, put together where a lot of those bands are coming from. There's some, I mean, Naveen's drumming is very much like in the same realm as Morgan to me. Maybe a like less loose, but definitely just as like jazzy and experimental in certain parts. But that's like literally one of the best fucking records of all time. And it's a building block in metal.
That's
or like saxophone solo or saxophone in metal. That album's got sax on it.
I actually love that. There aren't many examples of it, but truth be told, every time there's a sax in a fucking metal song, I'm like, hell yeah. This fucking
when Keen was putting it in The Faceless and when Naveen was putting it on Flesh Rot, they were definitely ripping off Soul Niger with it.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I didn't even say Cynic. Kindly Bent to Free Us. Add that. You guys can't do 6. That's so unfair.
Hey, I'll add the 6th one. I love your reaction there. I'll include that for sure.
Yeah, Kindly Bent to Free Us is one of my.
The entire time you were talking about this last band, I was thinking of Cynic because that's like so obviously also a huge inspo to those like Faceless and like type bands.
Oh yeah, I mean the Contortionist. They've got fucking what's his face? Why can't I think of this? Alan Watts quotes all over their shit. That's like from Cynic. You know, Cynic was the original band doing that. But yeah, Cynic is.
I usually don't do that. It's like a really small one. I know it's going to be super fast. Earlier in the conversation, you talked about System of a Down. It's a band I still love and still listen to. So quick, favorite song. Just curious.
My favorite song by System of a Down is probably, I can't really do a single song because like I have to listen to all of Toxicity all the way through. That's like my original favorite metal album. So like they always got me with the more emotional songs. Like Aerials would probably just off the top of my head be the one. But like literally a week and a half ago, my friends Michael and our friend Jillian, who did the cover art on Kin, by Whitechapel. They were over here, and we were like drunk at 4 a.m. doing karaoke to fucking System of a Down, just going listening to everything.
But insane. No, yeah. I was curious because I would have said like Aerials all the time, and recently I don't know why I keep listening to Hypnotize like all the time. So
that's what I know. We put on fucking Hypnotize, Mesmerize the other night, and I remember not really loving that album, but when they put it on, I was like, oh, all of these songs are on that fucking album. Okay, I talked way too soon. I spoke way too soon. Great album.
That happens to me so much with old records that 15-year-old me was like, no, I don't like this. And now I'm going back to them and I'm like, wait, this fucking rules. Like, what the fuck was I thinking?
I know, dude. You know, but, I know.
Small sidebar. I saw Bring Me the Horizon yesterday here to 15,000 people in the fucking arena.
Insane. Congratulations. Isn't that amazing?
It's fucking
insane. Bring Me the Horizon? Dude, I mean, bro, the original side swoop, like, come on, that's fucking crazy. That's
fucking crazy. But what I wanted to get at was that they were only playing new metal songs in the lead up to them, like while they were setting up. Mm-hmm. And the last song that played before they actually got on stage was Aerials, and the entire stadium was singing the song from start to finish.
That's amazing. And that's also
insane.
Also, for the kids out there who are in bands, you got to think about that. Put on a fucking banger before you go on. Get the whole crowd singing. You get them in a way better mood and they're like ready to go. But that's insane. That's so cool.
Yeah, I'm sure they killed it, right? Like, how was not to put you on the spot, but did you enjoy it?
No, it was.
Oh, you hated
best live show I've seen in a long ass fucking time.
Yeah,
it's so.
I bet. I have a lot of respect. I mean, 9 Inch Nails is the best live show that I've seen in the past couple of years, and I have a lot of respect for people who really, really care about live production. I care a lot about live production, and I think that it's kind of overlooked in a lot of areas of metal. I think sometimes it's very lazy and people don't really like dial it the fuck in.
Not sometimes, Chaney. We can tell it how it is.
All the time.
95% of the times.
Yeah, I'm usually quite underwhelmed. It's true.
Yeah.
But Bring Me the Horizon, like their live production just looks absolutely insane.
It's fucking crazy. The massive LED walls that go all the way behind the stage, like 3 sides to it.
Super
with
cool.
like a sheet like banner in front of it that's like mimicking like a cathedral, but you can see through like the windows of it. So the LED screen from the back is like shining shit through it. So it's constantly changing it. But then halfway through the set, they tear that down like while it's pitch black sometimes. And then it's just the LED screens with like these massive 3D fucking things going off on it. Dude, absolutely insane.
I love that.
The pyro, confetti, like the geysers or whatever you call them. It's fucking crazy, dude.
I go different ways with those LED walls. I think that a lot of the time people use them and they're just like way lazy with the visuals that they put on them.
And that's it.
Yeah, or like some fucking skulls and like skeleton or whatever album art, animated album art. But it's like, dude, I have been interested in like EDM. Like EDM is so good at using video walls and visuals and like more pop oriented music, and I've been so into that for so long that I'm like, dude, a lot of metal bands I see with LED walls like have similar budgets to what an EDM act would. And I wish that there was a little more effort put into those, but that sounds so fucking cool. I want to see that.
It's crazy to hear, like you're talking about Bring Me the Horizon, not to go too much on that, but right now it just so happened I'm working on a video about Bring Me, but we're talking early, like Dumb doesn't even know. So like today I was selecting videos from 2004, 2005. He had straight up like just a little emo haircut.
That's what I'm saying. He was like, he had that like lip ring.
Yeah.
And yes, and people like, you remember like small places shows, like, and he's moshing, like he's screaming, and then he just goes like, and he's much like next to people. And he's like 15 probably. Yep. So like to hear that right now, like you saying that, and I'm seeing all the image of like that era. It's crazy to think where he came from, and like
and for metal in general, I was saying this yesterday while I was witnessing it. Like metal right now, I feel is like, dude, there was no metal band doing 15,000 cap venues 10 years ago. No. Like dude, we haven't seen that since Slipknot, dude. Like
when I was coming up,
minute.
Like when I was coming up in metal, it's like no one ever even thought that metal would be headlining at House of Blues.
Yeah.
Like Naveen's old band Animosity was on like the first tour that went into House of Blues, because all of us kids, like we played Vets Halls and shit back in the day. We were barely allowed in real venues. And the first like House of Blues type tour was Unearth, Bleeding Through the Eyes of the Dead, Animosity. And that was in maybe 2008 or something. Like this is none of us ever thought that arenas, like that's fucking insane. Bad Omens played Bridgestone in Nashville a couple of weeks ago and sold that shit out.
Yeah.
Like how the crazy. Fuck? Or even like I saw Slaughter to Prevail and Lorna Shore at the same venue called The Pinnacle in Nashville, and that's like a 3,500 cap venue.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we never could have even pictured a band like Lorna Shore. Like that's insane to me.
With how like insane that music is, like for a mainstream crowd, it's just fucking, it's nuts. It's insane. To think that so many people in the city are going. Yeah. So I don't know.
But it's the coolest shit ever. Like there's now we know that there's no ceiling to this, and that it's actually not that crazy that a lot of us have been, sticking with this for so long. Like there's something going on here, and there's a resurgence of the underground. I would say. I think a lot of people are kind of sick of like the super, everything's so polished. The radio, everything on the radio is so polished, and people, the pendulum swings, and I think people are ready for aggression again, and like that type. They're in the mood to hear that type of shit. And then with TikTok and everything becoming more accessible, it's like who fucking knows where this will go. None of us do. It's insane, but it's so cool to watch.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you guys had Tracheotomy on the headliner.
My baby. Guys. Yeah, my boys. I love those guys.
You guys are doing the gigs with them again with the upcoming Whitechapel stuff.
Yes,
and Mauled is the other band on that tour.
Yeah, I'm excited to see them.
Like those two bands are bringing that sort of underground, raw, like MySpace type shit.
Are.
Yeah.
And so young to be that talented too. If I can,
dude,
it's insane.
Seriously, I know. Yeah, I love the guys in Tracheotomy. Simon has become that's my boy.
Shout out, Simon.
I have his back forever.
Yeah,
I will help that band do anything I can help. And like, it's been cool to just like talk to Simon, and sometimes he asks me for advice and shit. And it's cool to just be able to do that. Cause I remember being a young kid and fucking,
on the other side.
No. Yeah, I know. I say that to Naveen and my bandmates all the time. Like, when did we become the old people in metal? It happens so quickly, one day you're fucking a 15-year-old moshing at shows, and the next day you're one of the old heads and you have wisdom all of a sudden. And it happens very quickly, but it's cool. I love sharing knowledge. That's what this is all about. I love inviting people into our circle, telling them what I know, helping people out. Like that's what this should be about. Breaking metal rules and encouraging my friends to do the same thing. Yep. That's what this should be about. This should not be about us all like, they got this tour, and that's not what this should be about. This should be about raising up the fucking scene and just being proud of what we've all got going on, helping each other out, and just like being there for each other. Because it's like living is hard. Living and being in a metal band is hard, and supporting each other and like forming community there's nothing more beautiful than that. Like there's studies that are based on the longevity of life is determined by whether or not you have community. People who have a strong sense of community into their older years, they're the ones who will live the longest. And it's like we should be feeding that. And joking about, Gent ruined everything, but you know what? I fucking love all those guys.
It's not a joke.
That's not a joke. That's not a joke at all. Fuck that shit. But I have hella friends who play that kind of music, and I'm so proud of them for doing what they're doing. I don't give a shit at the end of the day. I don't care. You don't have to listen to my band. I don't have to listen to yours. It's not that deep, dude. It's about human connection.
And we don't have to project also. You can be happy for people's success, even though it's not something you particularly love. It. Like, I think we can gain a lot just to be happy for people who have success. And also you can learn through it. You don't need, it almost feels like people, but I don't like it. Fine. You don't have to like it. But you can,
everyone else does. Yes. Everyone or enough people like it that they're fucking killing it. And all that you're doing right now, all that you're showing right now is that you're kind of jealous of what they've got going on. And maybe instead of being a little jealous, you should make friends with that person or find something to like, go to a show. I can hate everything that's happening at a show, but I can be like, this was one cool thing that I did learn from that show. And now I know that we want to do that live, or we don't want to do this live, or you need to, that's like what it's all about. No one gives a fuck. You're not winning a badge by not liking stuff. I don't like a bunch of stuff. I listen to metal. Obviously I have my own elitist tendencies about shit, but like, that doesn't make me jealous of other people or like not want to be friends with them. Some of my closest friends, I'm like, I hate your music, bro, but I don't care because I love you.
You ruined it, Jen. That you ruined it.
You ruined it. Casey Sable.
That's the mindset. That's the right mindset.
Yeah.
Well, dude, Chaney, thank you so much, man, for doing this. I'm like putting a stop here, but truth be told, there's so much more shit we could have gone into, so we need to revisit this down the line, absolutely. But I'd like to let you send the people off though with what, because you've got multiple tours, got festivals coming up, you've got a bunch of
don't remind me.
Shit going on.
I have a bunch of shit going on, there's even something really exciting I can't share yet, but we're in a couple of weeks, we're hitting the road with Whitechapel, first shows of the year, Destin, Memphis, Louisville. Then a couple of weeks after that, we're out with Ginger for 2 entire months. That's going to be a crazy tour. We're finishing up our mixes on our brand new album this year. It's going to be out later this year on Metal Blade, and shit's exciting right now. We got a lot of cool stuff going on. So pay attention to the Entheos camp, and thank you, all of you out there who pay any attention to us whatsoever, because we never take that for granted. And thank you to both of you for doing this podcast and having me on. It means a lot. That was a great conversation.
Of course, it was amazing. Like, he knows the kind of conversations that I love, and today I had a freaking blast. It was amazing.
Me too.
Pleasure is ours, Chaney. We'll have to keep in touch. And you're actually doing a solo little headline show over here.
Oh yeah, yes I am. You guys should hit me up. I'll get into the show.
We're gonna, we'll see about meeting you in person. Would be cool.
Yeah. Hit me up if you're free. I got you on that guest list.
Yeah.
All right. Bye guys. Right, am I signing off now? Do I get to close? Am I good to close?
Yeah. You're good to close whenever, Chaney.
Okay. Peace out. Have a good night. Great talking.
Bye.
If you made it to the end of this episode, thank you for watching. And hey, while you're here, hit that subscribe or follow button and a review. If you're watching or listening on a podcast platform, it would mean the world and it helps out more than you know. A big thank you as well to all of our supporters over on Patreon and on Twitch. New episodes every week, links to our Patreon, Discord, and socials in the description. We'll see you soon. We're out.